I got invited to happy hour. And I said, sure. It was at that happy hour that one of the guys said to me, I need an assistant. I can't keep track of what I'm buying and selling. I'm losing so much money every single day. I mean, he was making, millions of dollars a year, but he was losing a lot of money every day because he just couldn't keep track and he was making mistakes and he needed an assistant. And so at the time I said, well, I could use a job. And he said, really? I said, yeah, but I don't know anything about trading. I have IBM stock, but that's about it. And he said, don't worry, I'll teach you. Can you start on Monday? And that's how I got into this. I started in the $1 million room at Schoenfeld Securities, which was the largest prop firm in 1994. And I didn't know anything. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, I didn't go into this like most people. They decide, hey, I want to be a trader. And they open an account and they just start trading. That didn't happen to me. I never even thought that I should be a trader. But here I was an assistant to this amazing trader. And that was my job, to be his assistant. And what I didn't realize is that I was learning how to trade from the best traders in this firm without, thinking about, hey, I want to trade. And what happens is a few years later, my boss decided he wanted to move out of New York and go down to Florida because no taxes down there. And I thought I was going to be out of a job. Oh no, what am I going to do now with my life? And I didn't even dawn on me like, hey, maybe you should trade. But the owners of the firm decided to give me $250,000. They said, it was a prop firm. We want you to trade for us. You know what you're doing. You've been trading, their accounts, you're doing everything. So they felt really confident to give me money. And that's how I started trading, and I did really, really well my first year. I made over 6 figures. I was trader of the year. And they threw another $250,000 at me, and I was running a trading desk. And, that's how I started into this business. I don't think too many people really start that way. And I wasn't trading my account. I was learning and helping my boss trade, and learning and helping him trade. And then when they finally gave me money, I was a professional. And that's so rare. And I think that's what really, gave me a huge advantage over other people. I learned never to think about money. And I think that's what everybody thinks about. It really is everything. I always say my best trades are the ones that I lost a little bit of money on. That's my best trade. I don't care if I made $10,000 on this trade. I lost $100 on this trade. And I got out when I was supposed to. And that was the best trade that I did today. I think that's the key. I always tell people, start small. If you can make money trading 100 shares, then you can move on to 1,000 shares. But if you can't make money trading 100 shares, you should never move up and try to, trade a bigger size. And then you have to look at the market. How is the market right now? There are times when I'm very, very light and times when I'm very, very heavy. And so it depends on the market conditions. There are days where I won't trade at all. And there are days where I'll do, 50 trades because it's great. So again, it really depends on yourself, where you are in your life, the type of account you have, and the market conditions.
I came to know about trading through a friend of mine. I was running an IT consulting business at the time, so my background is in computer. I have a computer science undergrad degree, and I had my IT business that I had been running for some time. But a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, this great opportunity that pays you 80% return. And my husband said, that's a terrible idea. Don't get involved in that. And he's a banker, so he's like, I don't know anything that, gives you 84% return. But she's like, no, this is great. So I put $10,000 in it, invested in this company, and I would get these statements that looked really nice. Every month there's, my account balance would go up. And then I find out that the company got audited by SEC and they shut down, and there goes my money with it. However, along the way, I got really interested in this thing that would give me 84% return. And I started bugging her, asking her to teach me about trading. And of course, she was just a beginner. She didn't really know that much about it in terms of being able to teach someone. And in starting to do the research, so I started finding courses and mentors out there to learn how to trade. And that was the beginning of trading for me, with losing money right off the bat. I had been trading part-time for 3 years at the time, and I was profitable. I think when I was trading part-time, I had about $10,000 account, and I was seeing profits out of that, and I had developed some consistency in my trading. So I thought, okay, if these are the returns that I'm getting on my own, just trading part-time, if I take it full-time and really focus on it, I should get better results. And I started trading full-time. So I set up my office at home, and I didn't have kids at the time. So I took up one of the rooms in my condo and set up my system. And I would come to the charts, wake up in the morning, come to the charts, look at a technical level, and I would place a trade. I had no concept of what else was going on in the market. And this was me trading full-time, right? And I had a decent sized account, but I didn't know what was going on in the market. But I didn't realize how many things I was missing. I just didn't see the blind spots at that time. One of the things that I found in life is that things don't always fall into your lap. You have to be ready and prepared for them. So the one quote that I like is the one I think it goes like this: opportunity comes to those who are prepared. So preparation is the key for anything in life, in my opinion. So my focus is mostly on currency. So I'm a Forex trader. So I get my market direction from the daily charts. I look at how the daily candle closes for each pair that I'm trading. And then once I have established a bias for the market, then I go into shorter time frames. I look at 4 hour, a 1 hour, 15 minute. And to enter a trade, I go to a 5-minute chart. Basically, for the higher time frame, I'm looking at the levels, because the support and resistance levels at the higher time frame gives us higher probability trade setups. But to actually get into the trade, I am trying to basically get the most pips out of it. That's why I just like to get really close in terms of my entry. I do my preparation the night before. So I'll take a look at the daily candle and I develop a bias. And during my preparation, I look at what level I'm looking to trade for the next day, so that when I come in the morning, I already kind of have an idea of what I want to do for that day, which is really helpful. I found that process to be really helpful. But in terms of, I am a day trader. I consider myself a day trader. I get very uncomfortable, and I think it goes back to personality. I don't hold my trades on for too long. I like to close them that day, or the most I'll hold them for a week or so. So for that very reason, I tend to be at my desk, and I have reduced my trading hours substantially, actually. I only trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays now. I take the Monday off. I found my success rate on Mondays hasn't been that great, just because, the way the markets tend to be. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are the most profitable. And sometimes I may trade Fridays if it's trending nicely. Otherwise, it's just the 3 days. So one of the things I tell everyone who's interested in, becoming a trader is that it's not an easy journey. There are easier ways to make money. And when I worked for in a corporate job, it was much easier. You got paid every bi-weekly, you got the check. And there was no problems with that. It was coming. However, there's just something about trading, just that freedom. And you can make a lot of money in trading as well, but it's a learning curve. It takes time. And then we go back through those ups and downs. It's not one of those things where, you learn something and then you're perfect at it. You're not, because we are all human beings. Emotions come into play, and then markets change. Central bankers make decisions that impact all of us. And so, it's a bit of a windy road. It has been for me. And I've seen that it has been for a lot of people. So it's not a quick scheme, or at least I haven't found it to be, but it's beneficial. So I am a full-time trader, and it does allow me the space to do other things in my life. I can, spend time with my kids, follow my other passions and that sort of stuff. So it does afford you a good lifestyle, but it's not the only reason. It's not the first reason I recommend someone chooses trading.
And yeah, no, I'm a full-time trader. I can't say full-time because most of the time my trading is about an hour or two, but that's the only thing that I do right now. I started trading about 5-6 years ago, very casually for myself. And I really, kind of got hooked up with trading. It was my passion. And I started to really trading it more professionally from my home office. My background is in chemical engineering. So I did my bachelor's and master's in chemical engineering. I came to Canada. I did my PhD in chemical engineering. And, after I finished my PhD, I started working a couple of years in different research scientist position. I eventually got let go, so I was laid off. I got a really good severance package, and that severance package really helped me to practice on my trading and become a better trader. When I was a PhD student, I was really proud of myself that okay, I did it, I'm gonna be amazing. And then when I went to work, my salary wasn't really that high, but that didn't bother me that much. But I got laid off after 2 years of working. Less than 2 years of working, and that was a shock for me. And I said, okay, is this, I was lucky to let go in a really young age. I didn't have kids, I didn't have a mortgage, I didn't have a lot of financial responsibility. That was the moment that I told myself, am I going to live another 30-40 years of this, that every time the economy goes up and down, you're the first person to let go? I really didn't want to have that lifestyle. So that pain on my mind actually really drove me. That gave me a really good determination. And I was reading a book, if you really want to make a change in your life, you have to have some sort of emotional pain. If you come up with that emotional pain or emotional shock, you'll go after what you want. But if you don't really see in anything, if you don't really see why you want that, then you probably easily relapse to old habits. I think in success in any endeavor is coming from resilience. You get punched in the face a lot of times, especially in trading. Every day you get a punch in the face, and that's part of the game. I'm not saying about trading. In any successful people, what you see, if you read the story of them, you see a lot of failure, and those guys are the people who actually wake up. I think the most feature of successful people and successful traders are resilience. The people who get knocked down, but they wake up and they continue. I think for me, I blew up a couple of accounts. I had a lot of bad losses. I still have some bad losses time to time, but this is a feature that you have to work into yourself, that you wake up after a really bad time. At the end of the day, you have to do it for yourself. That's very important, that you are the person. You can have mentor, you can have friendship, you can have support, but they don't replace you. You have to do the job. I had a mentor, but more than a mentor, I had a role model in my mind. I wanted to be like that guy, or I wanted to be like this. That role model really, gave me that determination. I want to be like that. I'm an outdoor guy. I love to be outdoor. I want to be able to take 2 weeks off and go climb in Argentina, and 1 month off, go to Nepal. And you can't really do that with a corporate 9-to-5 job. So I had to build something. So that role model lifestyle that I had in my life, that actually gave me determination. So, waking up at 5 o'clock, it's not really that bad. It was really difficult for me at the beginning, but you get really used to it, especially in the summer when the sun is coming out early in the morning. It's really easy, but sometimes in the winter it's tough to wake up at 5 o'clock, but you get used to it. And I'm not a morning person. I knew that my whole life I was always waking up late in the morning, but you get used to it. It's amazing how body get adjusted to everything. For the people who really, I really wanted trading, and this is the price that you have to pay. If you really want trading, if you really want anything, it doesn't have to be trading, you have to really sacrifice something in there. When I was really writing the book, I also trading, and I also had a job, so I had to sacrifice a lot of my family time, a lot of my friends' time, a lot of things that I really wanted to do, because I really wanted day trading. So sacrifice is coming, no matter what it is.